Hello, this is the RPG Crawler, and welcome back to a Tabletop RPG News Roundup, this time for September 28th, 2025, where each week I take a look back at the week in tabletop role-playing game news and bring you the highlights. It looks like Wizards of the Coast is going to release a new digital-only D&D supplement based on Magic the Gathering, this time called Lorwyn First Light. It'll include the bestiary of creatures along with associated materials specific to that part of the Magic the Gathering realms. Just like various planes and such. I don't know. I haven't played Magic the Gathering in decades. Anyway, this will be only available through D&D Beyond. They've done this before, so it's not brand new. Then apparently there will be a Kickstarter at a certain point for the Gygax Memorial Fund, which, if you've been following that news, is continuing on, basically. Be very cautious. Back at your own risk. I may cover it when it goes live, but let's just say that while it looks interesting, looks like they finally do have a plan. They've had that before, and it's been a long road coming, with quite a bit of unfortunate incidents along the way. I will say that the memorial they plan does look neat, so there is that. Onwards towards minor and PDF releases, Bill Slavacek, I think that's how you pronounce it, Game Designs has its first dungeon, or has the first dungeon, a 5th edition dungeon crawl module suited for characters of 5th level. Kelfasil's Tales has a couple of 5th edition offerings, each one a small adventure. There is The Weeping Tory and The Fox's Mask. Then the Demon's Doom will be a set of six one-page dungeons that can be linked together for 5th edition adventure, detailing a ruined dwarven mushroom farming outpost at the edge of a cursed dwarven settlement. Escape from Scarecrow Mansion is a 5th edition Halloween adventure available in print on demand, suited for characters of levels 3 to 4. Planar Legacy from Elven Tower is a level 7 5th edition as well as Shadowdark adventure, dealing with a planar Fey observatory. Dwarven Nations of Androsa is a supplement for the Daring and Dread campaign setting for 5th edition. This details the various histories and cultures of 5 distinct Dwarven nations, as well as associated adventure hooks, magic items, and so on. Korean Bestiary for 5th edition is exactly what it says, a set of creatures compatible with 5th edition, both versions, that is 2024 and 2014. They are inspired by Korean folklore and legend. Vault 5e, Victoriana Menagerie, is a 5th edition compatible collection of NPCs and other creatures for the Victoriana setting from the Cubicle 7. Frog God Games has Tome of Artifacts for 5th edition. It is a collection of unique artifacts that can be added to a campaign, complete with lore behind them, their various powers, adventure seeds that deal with them, and so on. Level Up Gate Pass Gazette Annual 2024 for Advanced 5th edition is available in print on demand, and is a compilation of various archetypes, feats, spells, and so on for that system. Kobold Press has a couple of offerings for their Tales of the Valiant compatible systems. There is a Well of Shadows, which is a quick introductory adventure with a quick start guide for the system, and then there is the Book of Blades, which offers various combat-related player options for that system. Horror in the Cornfield is a horror-themed adventure for the Shadowdark RPG, where an annual fall event has been set up in a cornfield. Interestingly enough, I will be covering a 5th edition Kickstarter for the same thing at the end of the video. Gristle and Vine Molted Flesh is a Shadowdark RPG jungle adventure for levels 2 to 4. Extended Talents for Shadowdark is a collection of expanded material for the Talents class charts for the Shadowdark RPG. You know, I have not played the Shadowdark RPG yet, and I haven't even barely looked at it. I really should at some point. Anyway, Shadow City of Blood and Neon is available in print on demand and is a Shadowdark-based game set in the 80s, where you are a vampire living in the shadows of a modern city. The Stennard Courier Volume 2 is a Dungeon Crawl Classics compatible town center suited for low-level characters that can be used as a base of operations or a locale in and of itself. Siege at Perdition's Jail is an OSR Western-style adventure for the Tall Tales BX, which is an OSR-style Western system, of course. Return to Asylum is an adventure for Shadow the Demon Lord, dealing with a frontier village that had disappeared, almost disappeared, around 10 years ago. Adventurers had slain the undead threat. God damn, I can't even pronounce anything anymore. Anyway, they had slain the undead threat that threatened it back then, but now a decade later, the village now stands in ruins. Evil is reawakening. The Mines of Kor Kazan for Against the Dark Master is an adventure scenario focused on dwarven mines suited for characters of levels 3 and above. Bloodwood is a Dragonbane compatible adventure dealing with a forest with a number of threats within, ranging from blood elves to other ruinous things. Then it looks like there's a few things coming out for the Cosmere RPG. There is Speak the Words, an adventure designed to highlight the Stormlight campaign setting. Advanced Adversaries, which collects a number of new challenges for that system. And then Stormlight Scenarios, which offers 7 easy-to-run adventures in that particular setting, ranging from high drama to more cozy offerings. Cubicle 7 has Warhammer, Age of Sigmar, Soulbound, Champions of Chaos core rulebook, a new tabletop RPG set in the Age of Sigmar universe using the same rule set, but letting you play as champions of their ruinous powers. Call of Cthulhu, the Sutra of Pale Leaves 2, Carcosa Manifest, continues the campaign set in, I believe, 1890s Japan, where you encounter the King in Yellow, or at least its effects. Renegade Game Studios has a variety of offerings for a couple of systems. There is Life Imitates Art, which is a, I think, supplement or adventure for Hunter the Reckoning of 5th edition. Rotten Home and Red Tundra are scenarios for Werewolf the Apocalypse 5th edition. And finally, Repulsive Developments is a scenario for the Power Rangers RPG. And then beyond those, we finally have Star Set, the Great Dimming 2nd edition, a OSR-style system set in a grimdark future where the Oort cloud is collapsing into the solar system. And on that note, let's take a look at crowdfunding campaigns. Remember that contributing to a crowdfunding campaign should be done only at your own risk. Doing so is no guarantee of you receiving a product mentioned here is not an endorsement, but it is for informational purposes only. And we'll start with Under the Black Flag, a 5th edition adventure with a focus on swashbuckling, pirates, and naval battles. Then Horror on the Cornfield will be an adaptation of the Shadow Dark adventure, which I mentioned earlier, this time to 5th edition, of course. Nightmares in Maryland will be a 5th edition horror survival adventure dealing with a town cursed by endless nightmares. The Puppet Master will be a town-based horror adventure for 5th edition, dealing with a cursed town where a guest arrives every few years to claim souls. Then Beyond the Mycelium will be a fungus-based adventure for 5th edition, including some pre-made characters based on actual mushrooms. Gone Foragin' will be a cozy one-shot for 5th edition, revolving around gathering various natural things in the woods. Driftport will be a 5th edition campaign setting based on a mobile island made of bound-together ships floating along an endless sea. A Guide to Ethelon will be a 5th edition offering from Adventure Ripples, which will detail the world that they've been using for their various adventures. Dark Descent will be a collection of 5th edition material with unholy monsters, various underground races, subclasses, dark rituals, as well as blood magic. Traps and Trials for 5th edition is going to be exactly what it says on the tin, a collection of traps, puzzles, and hazards that can be used in any dungeon crawl. Pam's will be a 5th edition compatible zombie horror survival adventure suited for a one-shot and set in a modern-day hotel, hopefully for release before Halloween. Then it looks like there will be another issue of Delver and Runes, this time Delver issue 19 and Runes issue 8, for Old School Essentials and Shadow Dark RPG respectively. They are zines that have various material, tables and so forth within them. I think Delver usually has more tables, while the Runes has more articles, but I think it varies from instance to instance. The Elven Emissaries will be a setting and campaign for Savage Worlds Adventure Edition, where after centuries of living apart, a lost elven village has been uncovered by mortals. And finally, Free League has Invincible, Superhero Roleplay, a superhero RPG, officially set in the Invincible comic book universe. And on that note, I will wrap things up here. This has been the RPG Crawler with my RPG News Roundup, or with my Tabletop RPG News Roundup, for September 28th, 2025. As always, links will be below. If you like what you've seen, remember to leave a like, comment, any feedback, and subscribe for more RPG content. Until next time, take care and goodbye.
And if you are still watching, I would like to take the opportunity to thank my supporters, the top tiers of which are listed on the screen, without whose support I would not have been able to offer the variety of content that I have on this channel throughout the years. If you're feeling particularly generous and would like to join them, you can support the channel. There are a variety of options to do so. I have a Patreon, a Subscribestar, as well as channel memberships enabled. If you are not in a position to contribute, simply leaving a like, a comment, or sharing my videos are all wonderful ways to help the channel grow without spending a dime, and are all greatly appreciated.